Good evening and welcome to our Draft Day Sports Pro Basketball 2020 stream here at Wolverine Studios. I want to thank you for joining us tonight on our Twitch channel. As you know, we're streaming every Tuesday night at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Last stream we left off with our Phoenix team going through the first month of the season, starting with a 2-4 record. And tonight we're going to play out the rest of the season and see how things go. We had a pretty successful free agency session this past summer in the game, and we had a very exciting draft where we traded up to grab Ewald Bierbaum, power forward out of Germany. So far he's got a spot in the rotation. We took him with the 14th pick because our initial scouting staff on him was very, very high. We thought he could have 5-star potential eventually. That was his pre-draft scouting rating. You can see that our coaching staff has cooled a little bit on him since then. But, it still has potential, we think. And, of course, we have our star players, Ayinde Rushing and Ernest Mooring. Rushing, if you recall from the last stream, is giving us all kinds of fits because he can't seem to finish games. He wants to be in foul trouble every game, and out of the first 6 games we've played, he's fouled out in 3 of them, and all 3 of those, unsurprisingly, were losses. So we are going to get into the season. We also teased on Facebook and Twitter that we will be having a special announcement about another kind of stream we're going to be trying out. We're going to get to that in just a little bit. So let's get on to the season. And again, thank you for stopping by tonight. Feel free to throw any questions you have in the chat box, and maybe we'll chat a little bit about our new stream topic coming as well. We are an affiliate now on Twitch, so if you have the opportunity to subscribe to our channel and support us, we certainly appreciate that. And let's get going. We are 2-4 through the first month of the season, as you can see. And we're going to go here for a couple weeks and see how things go. And there's a 121-104 win, 35 for Mooring, 22 for Rushing, 22-17. That guy has just got to stop fouling out because when he plays, he's a beast and we win. If we can't keep him on the floor, though, we're going to have to seriously think about trading him, which is awful to think about trading such a young, exciting player. There's a win there with Joe Royton, 30 points off the bench. Or he might possibly have been starting that game. Another huge game out of Royton. Perhaps the coaches have decided to move him around a little bit and increase his playing time. I'm playing in what we call local mode, which means I am the general manager only, as no defense was played in that game whatsoever. 150 points allowed. So I'm the general manager only. The coaching staff is all AI controlled. I can fire them if I want to and take over myself, but I choose to just be the general manager and let them make their own decisions. A couple of losses straight there. I can see Rushing not even listed in that Denver game. Let's go back and see if we can see if that was another foul out for him. I'm getting awful tired of those from him. So we'll check back in on that game and see what happened there. Let's go over to our dashboard. I hope you guys saw the feature on Sports Gamers Online, their online expo, where we unveiled the changes coming for Draft Day Sports Pro Basketball 2021 and the first look at Draft Day Sports Pro Football 2021. So if you see me moving to the wrong space on the screen, you'll know why, because in the new version, these options up here, the dashboard, staff, and roster, have moved down here to kind of be more in line with the options, and then your personal options are going to move to the top of the screen. And the dashboard screen also looks a whole lot different with player images. If you haven't seen that as part of their stream, we'll post the pictures, and we'll get you a look at what the future of the game is going to look like. Anyways, we wanted to check out that Denver blowout and see what happened there. And Rushing did not even play, so he may have suffered an injury, a minor injury. Let's take a look at. No, last injury was in March. So just a DNP, I guess. Perhaps wanted a rest day or something. For some reason, he did not play that game, and that was a blowout loss. Let's go check out the standings and see where we're at so far here. Conference standings. Wow, Indiana off to a fantastic start, 11-1. In the West, we are outside the playoff picture, 6-6. Nothing too terrible, nothing we can't come back from there. Let's go over to the league news and see if there's anything of interest lately going on. Mostly D-League stuff there. Power rankings. Sometimes we don't even hit up the screen. We are 19th in the power rankings. We've dropped 6 spots recently. I like the insight screen if you guys have followed the stream along before. It's a great way to see where you're at and also quickly to see who the leader is and everything. Our net rating is negative. That's look at that. Plus 14 on the net rating. That would explain why they've only lost one game. Lineup tracking early in the year. 12 games in. Let's see our biggest lineup minutes played. Royton, Richardson. And that is a positive lineup, just barely. Here's some bad news here. Childress, Mouton, Mooring, Rushing, Baum is a -11. The same lineup without Rushing is a -18. And then that lineup with Richardson is a -27. So these lineups are, they're really hurting us. And part of the reason is because our normal starting center, Roberto Roy, has a broken wrist, and he's still got a little more than a month to go before he's going to return. So that's hurting us defensively. It's throwing Baum and Chapman into minutes that they probably shouldn't have. I don't think we've had anything to deal with in the inbox. Just a couple of scouting updates in the draft. Gerald Harris and Othello Cox, fringe guy. Okay. We'll make mental notes of that. And we'll spend a couple more days on November here and see how things go. There's a tough loss to Toronto. Rushing with a good game, though. It's early in the season, so nothing to panic about just yet. There we go. Back to 500. Childress, strong game. Childress and Richardson seem to be rotating at the point guard spot. Mooring again, huge game there. He's been phenomenal. If you follow the stream early in the stream when we were back with Orlando, you remember Mooring was our star player there. So we had to get him when he was a free agent. Couldn't pass that up. Let's go over the dashboard. Roy still got another 28 days to go. A couple of wins here. Atlanta and Cleveland, those are good wins for us. Rushing fouled out again. Let's take a look at the stats for this year and see how many times that makes now. He has fouled out 4 times, so that was the first time in a while he's fouled out. So at least he's getting that somewhat under control. Here's our prized rookie. Not shooting very well. In fact, he's shooting awful. Outside, he's got to stop shooting. Stop shooting the 3 there, Ewald. Get to work inside. He's much more effective in the paint. Let's go, and let's see, we're at November 20th, so we'll finish up the month of November. Oh, good. There's another win over Boston right off the bat. Puts us to 9-7. On the right side of 500 now. And another win over Washington. Solid there. So we're in a little hot streak here. And oh, that was a big score there. Wow, another victory. Rushing, Mooring, Baum, all its big games. And another victory over LA. That was a big victory. So we're rolling now. As we almost finished up the month of November here. Things are looking up now for our Phoenix team. We'll have to see. Oh, and I spoke too soon there as we lose to Portland. But we should be at least partially in the playoff race here. Let's see, we'll do a quick save here as we head into the month of December. And let's take a look at those standings. In the West, we are leading the Pacific Division, 12-8. And we have moved into 6th in the playoff race. So that was a good stretch there at the end of November. Power ranking wise, we've moved up to 11th. We had moved up to 13th, so we moved up another 2 spots there. Let's see if that net rating has gone positive now, 2.5. So that's absolutely a direct correlation. Steals not very good, blocks not very good. We're doing a lot of scoring. That's helping. Our defensive rating is awful. So if we look to make a move, it's obviously going to have to be defensively. Salary versus per, you can see Mooring making almost $40 million, but also leading in per. There's Roy. That's why we need him healthy. He was performing a great deal for us. Like he's under 10 million, only 8.5 million, and at 26.4 per. There's Rushing and Joe Royton. Everybody else kind of just hanging out down there. Let's see efficiency versus usage. There's Mooring. Definitely not toward the top. There's Scott Oliver, Scott Cook, Tim Rice. There's Rushing, and Baum makes the list here for league qualified. 3-point percentage against 3-point attempts. This one's kind of a fun chart to see. There's Mooring. Childress. He's got to make a few more of those. I like to see guys with the high percentage and high attempts. So Mooring, one of the best in the leagues at that, percentage-wise. If we could get him to get a few more attempts even, that would be fantastic. Let's start the December stream, and we're going to talk about our announcement for our next stream. Well, we've got the December stream, or the December sim going here. As you can see, our next stream next week, we're going to try something new. It's going to be a developer dynasty for Draft Day Sports Pro Basketball. I should amend that. It's going to be for Draft Day Sports Pro Basketball 2021, actually. So if you tune into the stream next week, you're going to see a look at Draft Day Sports Pro Basketball 2021. And what we're going to do is hopefully interact with you in the chat and talk about things you want to see come to the game. So whatever ideas you might have for the next version that you want to see being worked on, and we'll try to pick one area, or if there's small things, maybe 2 or 3 things we can focus on during that stream. And I'm going to develop, and you're going to see Draft Day Sports Pro Basketball 2021 as we either work through things or play along in a test sim or something like that. So if you have suggestions for the next version, definitely think about those this week and bring them with you to the chat next week. You'll be able to throw out a suggestion, and we obviously can't work on everything, but if there's some good suggestions there, we'll see if we can work on them or tweak things that you want to see. Basically, it's just going to give you a look at how things are moving along for the next version. We're not going to completely go away from our Phoenix sim here, but we want to try something different. And if it's something that is met with success and people are kind of into that thing, we're going to extend that to Draft Day Sports Pro Football 2021, so you can get a look at how that's coming along in the future. And we really want to do this and get interactive with you and give you the opportunity to provide as much feedback and ideas as you can for the game. One of the reasons the game has improved so much over time is because of feedback from our customers. We take that very seriously, and some of our best ideas come from that. So we're excited to try that out next week, same time, 7:30, and we're going to look at Draft Day Sports Pro Basketball 2021, and hopefully you'll be there and talk along with some ideas and see how things are happening. Our sim got stopped here on December 11th because the Phoenix News wants to comment, but let's look at our scouting updates and see if there's anybody that our scouting staff is exciting about, and doesn't seem to be. So Joe is on a tear and is going to be the subject of a blog post. Care to comment on his tremendous play? We'll offer him some praise. Keep that attitude high. Playing effort decreases. This will be one of the things, as a matter of fact, that is going to be changing in Pro Basketball 2021. There'll be more outcome from the feedbacks and stuff like that. So, because a lot of times it seems like it might be you always get the same sort of response. So we're gonna increase that in the next version of the game. But see, it's the kind of thing that I want to see happen as we play along. For you to be able to provide feedback and suggestions and things like that to say, oh, I don't like this, or I want to see more of this, things like that, and then we'll build it up as we go along. Let's check out the draft and just see if there's anybody who is looking really, really good. That's an interesting. Mark Willis averaging a ton of points for us, a mid-level school there. So he might be interesting if we don't end up having a very good season here. But we were at the top of the Pacific. We've fallen back. Golden State's been on a tear, and we've lost 5 straight. So we need to get things moving back in the right direction here. I guess we might as well see if we can finish up December and see what happens. There's a win back in the win column against Philly, who's still not very good. We almost took over Philly when we switched to Phoenix after being fired from Orlando, but I think Phoenix was a better opportunity, and we've done a pretty good job. In every season. This is our 5th season overall. 3 with Orlando, 1 with Phoenix, made the playoffs in all of them. So never a losing season, never a rebuilding season. So hopefully this will be 5 straight playoff appearances for us. There's a tough loss to a bad Charlotte team. And Beerbaum has suffered an injury. But Roy is back in the lineup there, and there's a victory over or former Orlando team. Another revenge opportunity for Ernest Morton and me. I like those wins over Orlando. San Antonio just got our number. They beat us. They scored 150 on us last time. At least we held them to 135 this time. So there's improvement, huh? Feel free if you have any questions about our idea for next week, the Developer Dynasty for Drafty Sports Pro Basketball 2021. If you have any suggestions right now that you'd like to see for the game, or anything that you want passed along to the football team who is hard at work on Drafty Sports Pro Football 2021, which is going to be a fantastic game as it's moved to our AU platform here, developed by Sean Sullivan. And in case you missed our blog post from the end of last week, we did post that Sean has taken on more of a role at Wolverine Studios. He's not only working with myself and Brooks on the platform for the next round of games, but also is going to be doing some development beyond the AU platform for us as well. And we're excited to talk about that more in the future. The sim is stopped on December 25th. It must mean there's a Christmas present for me. And it's just Phoenix news again. Apparently Steve Chapman's been playing very well, and so has Rushing. Before we make a comment, let's take a look at some of these games and see what Chapman and Rushing have been up to. We've not been playing very well overall. Let's see, Rushing fouled out again. Surprise, surprise. Chapman didn't do much in that game, so he must be talking about some other game here. Let's see, Dallas. Rushing was very good there, 31. Chapman only 5. Maybe they have the wrong Chapman. Let's see, did he have some good games here? Nothing spectacular. He did play through a good stretch back here earlier in the month. Let's see. Rushing, how many foul outs are we up to now? 8. 8 times he's fouled out. Eight times in 32 games. He's fouling out of 25% of the games. So that's, I don't know how much longer we can hang on to that. We might need to start shopping him around because we're falling further out of the lead for the division. We're only a half game out of the playoffs, but I think we might want to at least see what I can get for him. I think we've got to at least think about it, because he's just not on the floor enough. And I mean, if he's falling out of a quarter of the games, that's just not going to work. So we're going to throw him on the trade block for a little bit, see if anybody comes through with a nice offer. Let's go take care of comments. I'm not really seeing much out of Chapman, and he's decreased his attitude. I'm going to no comment on Rushing. Maybe that'll get him motivated a little bit to stop fouling out of games. Let's finish off the month here and finish off 2023. Let's see if we can score a couple of victories here. There is a close loss to Sacramento. Rushing, Morey, and Baum with okay games. And we were trailing Houston there for that last spot. Houston was the team we lost to in the playoffs. thanks to Mooring's injury. It was a team we beat all last year. I'm convinced, you cannot convince me otherwise, that we would not have won that first round matchup with Houston. There's a victory over LA, who is pathetic, but we'll take any win we can get. A win is a win. And we need as many of them as possible to keep our playoff streak alive. There's a loss to a bad Atlanta team. So far, no offers coming in for rushing yet. And no comments either requested. Let's look at the dashboard, make sure everybody's healthy, everybody's attitude's good. So that's solid. Our net rating has decreased, and our points per game have actually increased. So that means our defensive rating is getting worse. We're almost the best at free throw shooting. We're top 10 at 3-point shooting. It's just we're not playing any defense at all. Let's see if we can use the lineup tracking and see just exactly why there's not a lot of defense being played. Here's a bad lineup: Childress, Mouton, Mooring, Bierbaum, and Baum. Here's another bad lineup with Mouton and Baum. Mouton's a decent defender though, so I don't really think it's on him. Baum. He's a common thread here in these. There's another one with Baum. He is a common thread here in the lousy defense. Let's see. Thank you for stopping by too. I see we've got new viewers coming in. If you missed that, our announcement there is posted in the chat room that next week we're going to turn this into a developer dynasty stream for Draft Day Sports Pro Basketball 2021. So come with your ideas for what you want to see in the next version, and we'll develop while we're talking to you. Let you show kind of the process is how we make it, how we work along here, and how we improve the game. So Baum here is playing a lot of minutes. He's averaging 11.9 points per game, and he started 25 of our games. So I mean, he is an integral part of our rotation, and his defensive ability isn't bad, but he's just been a total negative. So we may have to look to replace him. We've got rushing on the block already. Let's throw a bomb on the block too and see. Somebody might have interest in him, especially since his contract is expiring. Still early where it's only January. We don't have to quite make a move yet. Let's go for another half a month and see if we get some wins or if we get some trade offers coming in. Our management has instructed us to keep rushing, but if he's fouling out of a quarter of the games, that's just not a tenable plan. So I'm sure that if we get something good for our management, we'll still be happy. There's a loss for our D-League team. There's a victory over Denver. So that's back-to-back wins as we push ahead of 500 again, trying to claw our way into the playoffs. And that was a game we really needed to win. Scott Cook, one of the top players in the league, had a field day against us there. We fall further behind Golden State. They've at this rate, they're going to have the division wrapped up pretty soon. Another win over Washington. We seem to play pretty well against Washington. Tim Rice, one of the top players in the league too, had a big stat line there. As always, as we sim along and just kind of fill the time chatting, if you've got any questions, there's a win over Golden State for us. That's a big one. If you got questions about this game, about the 2021 version we're working on, the 2021 version of Pro Football, I know has received a lot of excitement lately as we debuted it in the SGO Showcase. If you want to find them out, just Google Sports Gamers online. And we had links in our Twitter all week long to the online expo that they did. And they showed off a little bit from Pro Football 2021 and Pro Basketball 2021. And it's right at the start of the video, so you can go check that out. It's only a couple minutes long. And you can see a quick glimpse at what's coming next year, or later this year, for our 2021 games. We've made it to January 15th. And let's take a look at the standings and see where we're stacking up. We are 23-19. We've won 4 straight, catching up on Golden State, and we've moved into 7th in the playoff hunt. Well, tied for 6th with Houston. All positive news there for sure. But we didn't save in January yet, so we'll do a quick save here before we finish off January. As you know, the trade deadline is at the beginning of February. So I'm sure as we get to there, we'll start getting some trade offers in on Rushing or perhaps Baum if we decide to trade them. Darn, there's a loss to Dallas. We're losing some close games. And Roy goes down with another injury. I hope it's not a bad one. Let's see if we can stop and see just how bad it is. There's a big win over Oklahoma City, 140-129. Let's see what happened to Roy. I'm afraid to look after his sprained wrist earlier in the year. Wow, torn ACL out. He's done for the year. That's a terrible blow for us. He is our defensive anchor. And that is just a brutal, brutal blow. Last year it was Mooring in the playoffs. Now it's Roy that we lose for the playoffs. This team is just snake bit, it seems. That's definitely going to change our strategy around the trade deadline. Is we're definitely going to have to look for a big man who we can rely on and who can play some defense. Just looking at us defensively, Roy, I mean, he was there. Hopefully, Chapman can at least play defense. He's not going to do much anything, but offensively, I mean, Roy, solid scoring, solid defense, solid, best on the team at drawing fouls. That is a rough loss for us. And hopefully we can recover from that, but this is not what we needed. Not what we needed at all. See if we sim through the rest of January and see what happens. There's a victory over Portland. We're going to have to outscore people. 134-128. That'll if we score 134 points, we'll probably win games, but I don't know how many times we can do that. And it looks like the sim is going to stop, so we've got something cooking here. Scouting update on Owen Kress from Portland State. There's a guy to target in the draft. We'll check him out in a minute. Comment wanted on Baum. And the trade rumor. This is the one downside of putting players in the trade block. Sometimes the media finds out about it, and now we've got to do something about it. If we deny it, and that could go very badly, his rushing attitude could go south in a hurry. We could be forced to trade him. I'm going to go with a no comment on this one and see if we get away with it. And rushing is a little unsettled that we didn't deny the rumors. So we may have to do something with rushing. Baum is looking good. I guess we better praise him and keep him happy. Let's see. Looks like Mouton is suffering from migraine, so he's probable. Let's go over here and see if rushing is still no problems there with the organization. Just a small dip there. Let's see his stat lines. He has not fouled out since we put him on the trade block. Maybe that was the secret. Maybe we just had to put him on the trade block, and that scared him into stop fouling out. But we're definitely going to need him with Roy out. And I mean, it's no surprise that we've rattled off, let's see, there's 6 out of 7, and 8 out of 10. If he doesn't foul out, he's phenomenal. I mean, it'd be crazy to think about trading a 4.5-star young player, and as long as he isn't fouling out anymore, you know what? Because he's been playing so well, and I don't want to get another one of those trade rumor emails on him, let's take him off the trade block for now. We'll still leave Baum on there because I really believe he is a defensive liability for us, and he's only going to be playing more now that Roy is out. I mean, he had a very good game there against Utah, 20 points, 2 blocks, 3 steals, and another victory. The problem with having to make a move now for Roy is we've already traded 1 first-round pick away. Wow, there's a victory over New York is sub 500 all of a sudden. They have the two-time defending champs. Two-time defending champs. So that's a nice win for us there. I wonder what happened in New York. Oh, blowout by Memphis there. So we fall to 27-21. Still positive on the win side there. Hopefully we can make it 5 straight playoff years. Wow, there's a team we needed to beat, Houston, and we lose 157-154. I've got to see the box score for that game, because obviously we just threw defense out the window completely there. Let's go to the dashboard and let's look at that game. Overtime. That may have actually been a double overtime, the amount of points scored there. Mooring had 43. Rushing fouled out. Not a surprise. There's no way he's going to make it through an overtime or 2 without fouling out. Baum had 23. Childress had 24. While Robinson dropped 51 against Baum primarily. Chapman +5. And I think that Chapman has got to get some more minutes. I mean, he's not very good offensively, but defense is what we need. Rushing and Mooring can put up points. Childress can put up points. Royton can score. Richardson can score. Mouton can score. We got to have somebody who's playing some defense. And although Baum is doing a nice job scoring-wise, he is not playing a lick of defense. Scouting update on Chambliss. Chambliss and Owen Cressy, guys we want to check in on. We better, we'll make a note about those 2 guys. And Mooring, we'll praise Mooring. We got to keep Mooring happy. But let's take a look in on Chambliss and Cressy and see what's cooking there with those guys. Oh, Cressy is the number one ranked player overall. Chambliss is 3. So yeah, of course those guys have phenomenal potential, but we're not going to get either of those guys unless something happens and the wheels miraculously fall off the truck here and we end up with the first or second pick overall. We were interrupted here for that comment, so let's finish out January before we have to consider our options at the trade deadline. Mooring drops 40 there on Minnesota, and we get a much needed victory there. There's a trade there by Denver. So let's we hit February. Quick save for this month. Trade deadline is coming up in a week now. And let's go to the standings and see where we're at here. Conference-wise, we are 7th with a slim lead over Memphis. Not too worried about Minnesota or OKC catching up, but we do not have this thing on lock, that's for sure. And if we're going to try to make a run, we've got to get out of this spot so we get away from San Antonio. San Antonio is a team we do not fare well against. Let's look at the search and see players on the trading block. See if there's anybody interesting, especially if they are a center. A couple of centers on the trading block. Anybody who's a good defender and maybe not a big star player either. Maybe we could move out Baum, trade some offense for some defense. Alfred Lavin, solid defensively. Kind of like Stevenson. He's old though. He's been in the league 11 years. Let's check him out. Solid defensively. Wow, big contract though. That's kind of a no deal there. Anybody else? Let's sort by defense. Anthony Kosick, 30 years old. Not much of a shot blocker, but okay defense, okay scoring. Wow, another huge contract. And one of these teams that put these guys on the trading block, they just want to get rid of them. Lavin, excellent offensive rebounder, good defender. Another $20 million guy. Apparently everybody in the league makes $20 million. How about Roberto Casco from San Antonio? Oh, he's cheap. Only $2 million. And a good shot blocker. He doesn't seem to be getting much playing time. Only 8.6 minutes per game. Nice D-League stats last year. Got a couple of games up with the big squad too. Again, not much playing time. Let's see if maybe we can make a deal with San Antonio then for Casco. Not a great free throw shooter. Why is he shooting threes if he's shooting 25%? Don't know about that one. Let's see. I would consider trading Baum. That would be an upgrade for them, especially since he is in the last year of his contract, I believe. Yet he is a free agent to be. So maybe we could score a pick in the deal here. Let's see. It'd be a late first rounder with San Antonio because obviously they're a really good team. But I might go for this. Let's see, 12 points. We've been giving up some points, but I think we see if we can get some defensive help here. Let's see if San Antonio's interested. Nope. Oh, so I didn't even look. We're not cap legal here. We're gonna have to take on some more salary here. Let's see. They've got a couple of small salaries. Let's just make sure it's not anybody who's long term. Ross is on a rookie deal. He's only 23. Yeah, they're not gonna go for that one, I don't think. Backman's expiring. Looks like he was maybe a two-way convert. And what else? Fox, also a rookie option. They might go for that. And he's 7'5", 295, and 21 years old. There might be it might be worth trying to take a flyer on that. Let's see if not quite enough value. Let's see. We've got a couple of. Let's see. In the next draft, we've given up our second round pick. No, we've still got our second round pick in the next draft. We've got 2 seconds in 2025, and I think I'm going to be better than Cleveland, so maybe we can throw a second their way and make it happen. Nope. Still not enough value in the deal, huh? What if we gave them a second in 2026? So 2 seconds and bomb for 2 centers and a first. And they take it. So we scored another first round pick. That's always nice. And now we've got a different makeup here as we get rid of a defensive liability in bomb and pick up a defensive improvement here in Casco, as well as Fox, who not going to do anything this year, but maybe down the line. Let's see what they're going to do. They're going to start Chapman, which I'm okay with. He's a solid defender too, and bring in Casco. So that's a big move for us. Let's see what happens as we'll send just day by day here as we head into the trade deadline, just in case we need to do anything else. We don't have any other players in the trade block, so we shouldn't be getting any offers. And I'd like to see, I hope we have a couple of games here. We do play against Milwaukee here on the 3rd. Let's see how that goes. And we hold them to 84 points. Milwaukee's a sub-500 team, so that might not be saying much, but still, that's, let's look at the dashboard and see. See how our starter did. Chapman with a plus 11 there, and Casco playing 12 minutes off the bench. Their center scored 0 points. And that's that's great. That's all we can ask for. It's a great job defensively there. I'd like to hopefully we at least get one more game before the deadline, just to see if that was totally fluky. Okay, good. On the 5th, we play New Orleans, who is the best team in the conference. And a victory. 126-120 as we topple the top team in the West, New Orleans. So after this trade, we have 2 wins. And let's see, defensive effort. This time, Chapman plus 8. And Casco 0. We held Gresham. Gresham is a good player. He averages 22 and 13 a game. We held him to 18. So we held him below his average. And Chapman I think this trade could really work out for us, as Chapman is getting a chance to play now. Start that we move Baum out. We're not missing his offense. It's giving Mooring, rushing, Childress plenty of shots, and we definitely the increase in defense from Chapman there. So I think we're okay. We're going to move through the trade deadline now because I don't think there's anything else that we need to do there. I think this is the team we're going to roll with and hopefully get to the playoffs with. So we'll sim through the deadline here. We'll keep rushing. He seems to have gotten his foul problems under control for the most part. So we'll stick with him and Mooring and see if we can make a run. There's a tough loss to Indiana, but they're the best team in the league, so can't be too disappointed about that one. We just didn't score enough points. We held them to 6. And Casco has suffered an injury as we lose to Toronto. So of course we get through the trade deadline and the guy we traded for gets injured. It's just not our lucky year with injuries. Roy has been injured twice this time with a torn ACL, so he's out for the rest of the year. And that led to our trade for Casco. And now he's injured. I want to see how bad that injury is before we deal with that comment. Strained abdominal. Okay. We'll survive that one. Let's see, 30 and 24, where that puts us in the conference. Ooh, hanging on to the 8th seed here. It's a little bit of a gap. I'm not too worried about Memphis, but I'd like to get some space there. Got to get some space there as we head into the playoffs. Ralph Childress, no comment there. I'm glad he's playing well. That's freed up more shots for him with Baum out of the way. Let's send through February. Hopefully there's nothing else to comment on as we lose to Brooklyn there right off the bat. Pop-Up, one of the all-time great scorers in this league, dropped 46 on us. He's not a big man, though, so I didn't expect much of a defensive improvement there. I was just hoping we'd have a better defense against the bigs. New York has come roaring back, and they beat us there. That makes 2 straight losses on this sim. And in case you missed our earlier announcement, next week on our channel here at 7:30 Eastern, we are going to switch it up and put our Phoenix sim on hold here, and we are going to run a developer dynasty. We're going to try this idea using Japanese Sports Pro Basketball 2021. So hopefully we'll get a nice turnout with ideas and things people want to see for the next version, and we'll try to develop some of the ideas as we go along. And if they're small ideas, we can maybe work in 2 or 3 over the course of the stream. If it's a big idea, we can start laying the groundwork for it. And we'll see what the response is to that. I think it'll be exciting to let you guys really in on the development process. We've always taken suggestions, always appreciated suggestions, and it's always helped to make the games better. But I want to kind of try this idea and put you guys right in real time with the development, so you can stop in and kind of see what we're working on, see how the 2021 game is coming along, and share some ideas. So be thinking about things you want to see come to the game next week, and I hope that you'll join us for that. We are almost to the end of February here, and I did see a victory at the end there. I know we had a couple of losses in between. There's an important win over Oklahoma City, pushing them back. Beerbaum, our rookie, was 15 and 8, so it's nice to see him coming along a little bit. There's a win over Dallas, another playoff team. So I think that's 3 straight wins here. And we have hit March 1st. So we are in the home stretch now for the playoffs. Let's do a quick save, and then we'll head over to the standings page and see how things are shaping up. Dang, Miami 52-9, very impressive. Thank goodness we're not in the East. We are holding on to that last playoff spot. 4-game lead over Memphis, and we have played 60 games, so still got some games to go. And let's go halfway through March. Hopefully we can start getting some space between us and Memphis and kind of work on sealing up that last playoff spot. It's not going to help there with a loss to Boston. So we fall to 33-28. Our D-League team 27-21. That's good to see. There's a revenge over Brooklyn, and we hold Popov to only 19 points that game. So, nice defensive effort there finally. Hopefully our overall defense has increased. After this sim, we'll be able to check in on some of those numbers, as we'll have more. There's a loss to Houston. We needed that one. We'll have a better sample size to see how we are without Baum there and his lousy defense. See if these substitutions for defense for offense has paid off. There's a win over Cleveland. That's Childress, 19-11. Childress was our draft pick last year. We took him like 17th or 18th in the first round, and I will not let the announcers live it down that they panned us for that pick. And Childress has turned out, I think he was robbed of Rookie of the Year last year, and he's turned out to be a very solid player. So I mean, that's all you can hope for. I think it's 17th, 18th, in the draft, pick a guy who can be a starter in his second year and a solid contributor. That's about the best we can hope for. I think out of that pick, you're probably not ever going to find a superstar there. If you got a guy who's starting and playing solid minutes, can't be mad about that. Oh, there's a loss. We are dangerously close to 500 now, as we lose to Dallas there. Hopefully, Memphis has been taking some losses along the way. Let's check out the standings and see just exactly where we're at. Memphis is closing in on us, just 2.5 back. We've lost 3 straight. They've won 2 straight. Our insight, our net rating has improved since the last time we checked. We're 10th in the league in net rating. Points per game, we're very strong still, even without Baum's offense. And our defense is getting a little bit better. Lineup tracking, negative lineups included Baum, as you can see. Chapman and Casco, I'm guessing it's probably more beer bomb cause for the negative there. Baum was certainly offensively helpful. Chapman in that lineup, Casco, we haven't had him that long. That's a decent lineup there. All right, well let's finish up March and see if we can hold on to this last playoff spot. Lost to Denver, 35-33. Chapman, 9 points, 5 rebounds, 2 blocks, and 2 steals. Gotta get some victories here. Gotta have a win. Even if we just play 500, I think it'll be enough. If we lose to Minnesota, who's sub 500, we need a win. Got to find a win. Who's going to be a victory for us? There we go. Utah, solid team. They're near the top of the West. So I think if we play 500 down the stretch here, it'll be enough to get in. And we lose a heartbreaker to Chicago, 135-137. I don't understand. We're beating the teams with good records, and we're losing constantly now to teams that have terrible records. Whew, close one there over Detroit. We needed that victory. Scott Oliver had a nice game against us there. Almost traded for him back in the day, and again, a loss to Philadelphia. What are we? 32-42, and we're losing to them. We need those victories. Let's see. They want to comment on Terry Richardson. Let's see if we downplay him, if we can keep him going. Nope. I thought maybe that would motivate him to improve there, but I guess not. Let's look at the standings. Where are we at here? Are we holding on? Cleveland is the worst team there. In the East, we are a game ahead of Oklahoma City, who is 8-2. They won 8 of their last 10. We've lost 7 of our last 10. That's a recipe for disaster. We hold a 1-game lead over Oklahoma City, 3 over Memphis. So Memphis has stalled out too. But looks like this trade that we traded Baum has not gone the right way in terms of results. Let's finish off the end of the month. We need some victories. I think Oklahoma City picked up a win there. Good. There's a win over Chicago. You got to be beating these bad teams. You cannot lose to the bad teams anymore. Those have got to be W's on our schedule. We lose to Los Angeles, another sub-500 team. And Richardson has gone down with an injury. We just cannot catch a break injury-wise here. Whew. Squeaked out one against Minnesota. And Rushing has suffered an injury. Wow. The end of March was very ugly. I guess we have to go find out how ugly. Richardson strained abdominal. He's out for 6 days. Rushing a strained calf, out for 2 weeks, which will take us into the playoffs. So Rushing is done for the rest of the regular season. Rushing is done. Roy is done for the entire year. Richardson gonna miss the next 3 games. And we are spiraling out of control here as we have a 1-game lead still over Oklahoma City, who we play in a week. So let's see how we do. I mean, this is going to be a tall order, and we lose to Detroit there without Rushing, without Richardson, without Roy. I think this could be the end for our playoff streak here, because there's just a lot to overcome here. Now we beat San Antonio. I don't understand. We beat a team who's the top of the division, won 53 games, and we're losing to teams that are sub 500. Maybe we should just tell the players that every team we play is the top team in the league, and then there we go. On cue, we lose to Portland, who's 33-46. That's just mind-boggling. And there's a win over Oklahoma City. That was a big one. That was one we needed. They've fallen to 38-42, so they have had a losing streak there. Let's look at the dashboard, see how many games we've got left and who we've got. We've got Houston and LA, so 2 games left. And if Oklahoma City has fallen back, they've lost 5 straight, and we've got a 3-game lead there. We should be good then. We have made the playoffs. Whew, that was close. That was close. We are going to squeak into the playoffs, almost back in. It seemed to be more of Oklahoma City losing. There we go. Victory over Houston. Robinson only scored 21 on this instead of 50 like he did last time. So I guess our upgrade at center was helpful. Probably helpful it wasn't a double overtime game as well. We finished the season losing to a 15-team win. 15-win team. And that just about sums up how this season has gone. We finished 42-40, but it's good enough to make the playoffs. As we are the 8th seed and we face New Orleans, the top seed. We did have a win over them. Let's see, we beat them in November. We lost to them in December. We beat them in February. Sometimes I have a tough time seeing them on the schedule here. One thing we've added in Pro Basketball 2021 is a schedule page. We put that in, and it's a little bit easier to see. Rushing is only out one more day. I don't think we even play on the first day. So we should get Rushing back for Game 1. Orlando in the playoffs again. So let's see. Game 1 on April 15th. Rushing should be healthy and ready to go. Just double check to be sure. And yeah, Rushing is healthy. So the only guy we do not have right now is Roy. And we are not getting him back. So here we go. Playoffs. Made playoffs 5th straight year. 3 for 3 in Orlando, 2 for 2 in Phoenix. And here we go. Can we pull the upset of all upsets as the 8th seed? Game 1, 124-107 loss at New Orleans. Not surprising. Let's take a look and see what happened. Rushing 21, Mooring 25, Royton 12. Chapman did a good job against Gresham. Plus 13 is solid. The bench came in, didn't do much of anything. Beerbaum minus 18. The rookie in his first playoff game did not show up on defense at all since he scored 12. So not a good effort from him out of his first playoff game, but we'll see. Here goes Game 2. And it's a 103-118 loss. Gresham, solid stat line all the way around there. If we fall to an 0-2 hole, box score wise, just a bunch of minuses all over the place. Not a very good effort at all. Walton getting 19 minutes. He's supposed to be a defensive specialist, and he's a minus 17 for his time on the floor. So obviously not specializing in any defense in that game. We are down 0-2, not surprisingly, seeing as we're the 8th seed here. First game at home in the series. Can we make it a series? Yes, 102-86. Home victory there as we keep our hopes alive. Excellent game by Beerbaum in terms of plus minus. Same thing with Richardson off the bench. Bench doing a nice job there. Casco to 0 and Chapman -1 against Gresham. That's all we can ask for. I mean, he's still got his. He's going to get his, but we forced him into 6 turnovers. Rushing, solid game, 26 and 10. Mooring 19 and 13. That's going to be the recipe. Try to get some turnovers out of Gresham there. Game 4 of the series, 133-108. We've tied the series at 2. That's got to make the top seed a little bit nervous. A little bit nervous there. But we still got to steal one in New Orleans. Gresham, only 18 and 6. Chapman, 13 points. That's huge out of him. 23 and 22 for rushing. Richardson and Bierbaum solid off the bench again. Mouton plus 16 off the bench. Casco with 8 minutes. And some solid defense. Second chance points. That's big. 19 to 12. So we've tied it up. We made it a series. And we're playing, as the 8th seed, if you can play a best of 3 instead of a best of 7, you gotta like that. So here we go. Can we steal one in New Orleans? Gotta win one on the road. 141-123. Defense absent from that game apparently. We gotta see if we can get one more back at home and force a game 7. Here we go. Game 6. At home. Can we keep it a series? 129-122. We stay alive. Childress, Mooring, and rushing. Whew. We stay alive. Solid game out of Childress. 34 points. He's really stepped up in the absence of Baum after we traded him. Let's see. Detroit, Indiana, no problem. Washington, no problem. Miami, no problem. Detroit and New York in a game 7. And we've got 2 game 7s in the West. Denver and San Antonio have advanced. So game 7 there in New York. Looking for a 3rd championship. Keeps their hopes alive. Here we go. Game 7 in New Orleans. Can we pull off the upset? Devastating 111-100 loss. Rough way to go down, but we went down fighting. Disappointing to have another first-round exit, but we did go down fighting at least. Let's sim the rest of the season and see how it turns out. I would be surprised if Indiana doesn't take it because they've just been so good all year long, but we'll see. We'll see. Golden State could be looking for an upset there. San Antonio gets back in it, though. San Antonio. So close. San Antonio against New Orleans, top 2 seeds in the West. Indiana and Miami, top 2 seeds in the East going at it. This could have been us. Could have been us here. We gave New Orleans everything we could. They took them to 7 games. Gave them everything we could. Indiana, 66-16. What an impressive season for them. And New Orleans against Indiana for the title. Series tied at 1. New Orleans with a 2-1 lead. New Orleans could do this 3-1. And New Orleans has won the championship. Unbelievable. We took the champions to game 7, round 1. And it could have been us. It could have been us there. I don't know if it could have been us in the finals, but it could have been us there. Anyways, that'll do it for this sim. Thank you for joining us tonight. We had a good time rolling through this season. And remember, 7:30 next week, we're going to do that Pro Basketball 2021 Developer Dynasty. So bring your ideas, and we'll see you then. Thanks for joining us tonight.